I'm going to start from the beginning of number bet. This is in the concept of the letter hey, which he's spelling now with a hey and an aleph. It's patcha ba'achra. It opens up in another place. So there's a lot of chidushim in this. So where we're actually at is on the next page, where I wanted to get to. Next page is there's a. So am I in the right place? No, here it is. It's on page, excuse me, it's on page Tafret Sadites. That's where we're at, really, actually, no mistake. So it's, and we're really looking at this concept of the Vav is patach, or is patach ba'achra. The Vav opens up in another place. So question is a very mysterious line, and over here in the Or Yakar, he has a lot of chidushim here, as I see it. So I'm going to start from the top. But what I want to get to is number lamed, which is on the next page, because we looked at this the last time. It says Rave or Yakar. Let's see what he has to say here, Sham. She'ered kam lefidarko, and what does he say? The inyan is patcha ba'achro heindacha b'miloya os. So what this means is the other place he's talking about is really the letters all have a milui to them, or some letters do. Os b'mitvate k'yotzebo. So something when you pronounce it, there's also a double letter there. Gon hey. Now that one I mentioned before is not so simple because I don't hear the second hey. Gon hey hey, for example. That's how you spell hey. So he wants to say that's how you say. Before he said b'mitvate. So here he says like the letter hey. So he said apparently there must be another hey sound in there. I'm not sure. So Ayin Sham. I don't want to say I'm not sure too many times because it's a lot of new stuff here. But l'zecha v'pirish kam inyan the Vav, where it says Vav is patach ba'achro. The milui os Vav hu gam came os Vav. Okay, we know that. V'nosel v'kan inyan holech l'doida de misharim. And then we have this concept that going to my beloved, which I think he means either Zeranpin or Malchus, I forget. He says, he could say actually, I go to my beloved in a straight line. So he says, why? He said, what's it say? The milui os vav hu b'yosher l'umas milui os hey. It's in a straight line if you see it in relationship to the letter hey. The header lay hey, he wants to say, is not a straight line. He says, Ki os hey afshir shehira b'milui aleph kazeh, and it would look like this, hey aleph. Besod harucho shehi bechinas aleph. Now, that seemed to me that's a chiddush, that he said that the rucha that is coming, and we're going to say coming through the nose, is in the form of an aleph, osius pella. Now, this isn't exactly what he gets out of the word pella. Pella means like a wonder, something like that, something really novel. Not sure. So here we say like this is what happens. The rucha, this rucha, which is this aleph, it goes through the nose. So then it makes a hey in its milui like hey hey. So I'm taking his word for it. Like I said, v'nimsa the os hey hashnia. So when you say the first hey, the chotem enem is pashat b'yosher. It doesn't go in a straight line. Min os hey rishon. In other words, you don't go for one hey automatically the next day. Ella misakein, but it twists around. The kita the milui aleph, and it becomes an aleph. So you have a hey, I don't know, a hey, and a hey aleph. And then it goes back. It goes from the hey, or the hey, hey. I think it's a hey into hey aleph, as it gets switched around with this ruach that's coming through the nose. But then it goes back. He said, so he said, then it goes back to be a hey. So it has to go through this stage where I don't know, it's affected by the aleph that's in the ruach that's blowing through it, and it changes it into a hey aleph. See, that's the case about it. So he whatever that idea is that somehow this things change with the letter hey, But he says, it's straight. There's nothing, no twist in it. Ki tamid mismale ba'oz vav, because it always has a milui, which is an oz vav. So what is this vav? It's actually the beginning of the beginnings of das, but so butzin in the kardanusa. What is the butzin in the kardanusa? He says, it's the apportioning or measuring midah. It measures midos, or it gives kids. So we saw this a little bit. And it goes straight. So the pasuk. So then there's this is what we saw the last time. V'chakech kayayin hatov cholik l'doide de misharim. So chachech has to do with the chech. Chech is chachma. Kayayin hatov, and he went into an idea. What does ayin hatov mean? I really didn't understand it that well. We're going on. Number kaf tes. Bir sham od. So he explains furthermore here. Where did they go? Bir sham od. Now here's another phrase here. He says this concept of the butzin to the kardanesa, it actually covers open the opening. Well, what opening are we talking about? Where are we? He says, Ki ha'pev ha'elyon, that is the perak of the peh of Eric Anpin. Hu ha'pesach, that is the doorway, the hotzi ha'osis, the chutz, to actually, this is the doorway from which I'm saying letters appear. So he says, Hapesa, the hotzi, to bring out the osius, the chutz. The sod is pashtus das, and this is the secret of the pashtus of das. The shorish ha-osius, hem osius yud ke vav de keser. Now let's go back into this just for a second, because he's postulating here that inside of the keser of Eric Anpin, which is the top of the top of Eric Anpin, there are these three letters. So in what way? And they need to be manifest. They need to come out. That's what I'm thinking. V'hinecha osa akron shel yud ke vav, is this vav shnia, the milui vav. Now that's a little bit hard to see because there's only three letters, and he says the yud ke and the vav. Let's get his Rashbi. He say ha'osa achron. If you actually looked at this carefully, I don't know what he did. He says, is he going to say that it's a yud vav dalet or a hey and a vav vav? But at any rate, he says that the fact is you can't say the letter vav without automatically saying the last two parts of it. So he says v'hine ha'osa achron shall yud ke vav. Who vav shnia is actually going to be the second vav, the milui vav. It's a milui. So what am I getting out of this? What am I learning out of this? Excuse me, I really screwed this up. I got it off the page. I get so deeply involved. Let me read it again. So v'hine osa achram shall yud ke vav, hu vav shnia de milui vav. It's the second vav that comes from the milui. Nimser sha'oz vav shnia hu siyam his pashtus osius adas. So he says, therefore, it's like a door that closed. He says, Nimsa she'oz vav shnia, the second vav, which is automatic, is really a closer of the spread. In other words, it closes off the spread of the osius of das, osius adas. So I guess he's saying that the das contains the letters. That's the letters that are going to come out. So therefore, it has the effect of closing up the opening, which is the mouth, is pashtus osius, where the mouth spreads. Now, I don't know what I get out of this, because I thought the idea was for this to spread, and here he's telling me that the natural sequence is that the vav closes it up, because it's a vav safit. I don't know, it's the second part of the vav. The Zechar Amba Bubutz into the Gardenisa, that this is why we have this concept here of the measuring rod, or the measuring line. The Oz Vav Shnia Nimdade al Yedei Kavamida. So what happens is that the Oz Vav, that's the second Vav, becomes, I'm trying to get the right word here, it's like, I think it's measured, of course, but maybe means it's restrained. The kavamida, through this kavamida, which which measures, or I forgot the word I wanted to use. So it winds up getting involved in this measure process, which is, I guess, the idea of it being closed up, the Siyam, because it's at the end, it's the conclusion of the Osius. So then we have this phrase, the Nimsa, the Machasia Pischa, that it's coming out, is closing the door. It's closing the door of the mouth. So the Kav of Mida is, that's the word I wanted to get to, is the word of the apportioner. So part of apportioning is limiting. So I'm not sure where he's going with this, but let's look at number Lamed. I don't know. God willing, we'll get through it. To see some new ideas here. Rebbe Or Yaakov, he says, look in the Or Yaakov Vizel Lashono. Hainu Sodis Pashtus Osius Hech Megichak L'dat Lenet. So he's talking about the 5 different pronunciations of the mouth, but he says the osius of that make the word Hech, which is the palate. In there it has the sounds Gichak. Megichak, and then the dat Lenet, the Lashon, which is dat Lenet, is the sounds that are made by the tongue. Besoda Das, which is the secret of Das. So he says, that's interesting. When Misham the Osius and Zashras, and then it goes to Osius Hashinayim, which are the letters of the teeth. Vyotza the Safavon, and it winds up going out through this process of all of these different letters, or different, anatomical features of the mouth. The Haina Netzach V'Hod. He says, what are the 2 lips? L'sod Safavon, the Hainu Netzach V'Hod. So he said, which is what? What do Netzach and Hod do? They open up the mouth, Bechina Achrona, which is the final stage. Visham Osius Vav al Vav. Now look over here how he's spelling the Vav. And there you have the letters Vav. So the Kav Hamida, so when the secret of the Kav Hamida, Limdoda Osius, which is measuring or apportioning the letters and refining the letters, or still working on the right word for this, how it apportions them. So it makes some kind of a so he makes a mida, endpoints, boundaries, I guess you would say, in the Maluam, when they're spelled out, besod hamadregos elyonis, according to the secret of the upper madregos, which I'm not sure what that means, but let's see what he says. The yud, so he measures the mud, he apportions out the yud vav daled b'mena modad hey shehi neftachas agav ruach denashit. So let's see this again. Neftachas, so he says, from this Yud Vav Daled, you wind up getting the letter Hey. Notice how he spells the Hey here. Shehi Neftachas, which opens up, and what does it mean, opens up? Agav Ruach Denashiv, it blows through the nose, we know, as a result of this Ruach, which apparently could be understood as this letter Hey that's attached to it. So Umadad the Vav, then it also apportions the Vav, or bounds the Vav, what's the right word? Hine Sayim Tikkuning HaKeser, so this is the end of the Tikkuning of the Kesers, which are the Osios Yud Ke Vav of Keser. So now you see how they're coming out through this process, and the Siyam is in this letter Vav, Vav Aleph Vav. So the Kach Lo Hishne Mididaso Besod Va, he doesn't measure when he apportions the effect, or the actual the appearance of the temuna of the vav. It isn't a vav aleph. O shar osios kaviyotza. There's not another letter. It's vav aleph vav. Allah madad shir ha'os hazeh, but he measures out the amount of this letter. V'sasim midaso ba'os vav aleph vav, and he closes it, the whole midah of it. When you see the shape of this vav, then you see it looks like this, vav aleph vav, and it has to have that second vav. It's the vav, and then it has this ruach in it. That's where I'm going to darshan it just for myself, he says, and it finishes off with another vav. That opens up the mouth with the vav echod, uba aleph, along with the aleph also. And it closes up the mouth, and the opening with the second vav. And it shows like this: ki pesach hapatuach mispashtus aspiris mekesiv v'lamata, that hasozer v'ranor lapesach hu shehu bebechina achrona lebesichos chosa. It will be the part that has to do with opening and closing the mouth. Is going to go after the closing of the mouth, which is the second vav. So I think so the vav, that is the Teferes beso the das. So this whole middle line, that's the line of little mind, the line of measuring, the line of apportionment or shaping. So that's why you see the boats in the Kardanisa, the Danusa is a gevura. That is mida v'shir lo'osias Yaakov b'keser. Midas os vav, when he gets to the letter vav, madadara be'inyan shesayim shesiyum amitzius hadasi bechinas achrona lemakasya pischa. Now what basically he said, because we're running show, because I'll read it again, maybe we have enough time. So midas os vav madada be'inyan shesayim a pesach, that the siyum of the pesach, the hainu ha-peh el-yona, that's the upper mouth, that is the mouth of Eric Anpen. The Hotzim Misham Osius Besodach and Kedifrishno, to bring out their lights, as we want to say. Did I skip something here? Let's go back to the word Midas Os Vav. Measure that word out. Madadara be'inyuch siyum amitzius adas, that say that the siyum of the functioning of das is molded also, bechinas achrona the mechasya pischa, by this fast part, which is the last vav, which covers over the opening. So in other words, you can't have an opening without, it's not really an opening, I guess, if it can't close. So the hainu pesach niftach, that is the opening that opens up. The hainu rabbeper al yonach the hotzim b'sham osius besodim kedifrish v'sosim amakasach bechin zur besod vav, and it closes it up with this vav. L'horos, to teach us this: shepesach hakesach hapatuach l'tachtonim, that hadas hu hamakabel b'shonim. So the das is the first place that receives. Now, umashbir moshech l'kol kedifrishno, and that is, das. According to this thinking, the das is a receptacle for the other two lights that come out. It's the first one. Let me read again. He says, the horosh pesach hakeser habatuch l'tachtonim hadas hu hamakabel b'shonim l'mashbir hamoshe l'kol kedifrishno behind us so bootzin in the kardanusa hamispashet sham, because that's where you see the action in the das, where everything is piled into the das. Now this ruach is now in this das, that the midah of the measuring midah, the boats into the kardanusa, is going to be mispashed into that place. Bo ha-midah dimdod besod das, and there you see the midah, where you could use that das is actually going to have that midah in it, the boats into the kardanusa. The modin called the midas the matach besod neshivo de rucha, and he was, this is whole idea here, which I don't know what to do with it, called him midas the matach besod, the blowing of this breath, which is that aleph, I think that we're talking hamis alim besocha, which is hidden inside of it, the atzvas achayim al yonim. So that is the vav aleph vav. So he said, l'seis shir, and what does that actually do? So it actually apportions things. Shir umida k'neshama l'guf, like a neshama inside of the guf. V'hainu sod mi zeh Amar v'tehi, like his me. Okay, I don't know what the me usually refers to Bina. Mi zera b'amar v'dehi, and it came into being. Baruch she'amar v'hoya halolom. So this is all of these. I guess he wants to say mi ze amar. So his first part is on amar, and then he said Baruch she'amar. So here he says again this coming out. Hud siva v'yamod adgan. V'nei inin butzin in the kardanusa. So this idea, this kubutzin in the kardanusa, besod kav is really that apportioning idea. Shemispasha besocho ha'atzmos k'neshama the goof. Regam la'el. Now there's a lot there, and that's it for today. And he a lot of times sets us up for things that we're going to see as we go deeper into this, but we're actually seeing the origins of all reality here. Okay, call Tuv Rebbe. Feel good. Bye-bye.